Greetings, this is Father Michael with our word for the week. And our word this week is saints. We celebrate the Feast of All Saints, and since it falls on Sunday particularly this year, it's a good time to remind ourselves what it means to be a saint. First of all, we know of lots of saints in the church, great heroes of the past who had tremendous knowledge and love of God. People like St. Thomas of Aquinas, St. Francis, St. Catherine of Siena, and so many more. And when we consider their lives, sometimes they are worthy of our admiration, but they seem very far from our imitation. That is, we can be daunted by the fact that they seem to know and love God to such a great extent that we could never, ever get to that place of holiness to which they attained. And that would be a mistake. The practical and purposeful reason for the celebration of all saints is to remind us that you are called to be a saint. Let me say that again. Nothing else matters in life except our sanctity. In fact, it is the answer to the question, what's the purpose of life? Or what's the secret to happiness? You know what the secret to happiness is? To be a saint. Even though saints are extraordinary in their loving God and of bringing God's love into the world, it is the ordinary call of every human being, of all of us, particularly those who've been gifted with the grace of faith, to be a saint. I mean, consider the alternative, right? Eternal separation from God. So there's no choice here. We are called to be a saint. It's ordinary to be a saint, even though we will never be canonized, myself or anyone watching this video. We are called, each in our own ways, to be a saint. Now, when it comes to being a saint, we might ask ourselves, how do we do that? Our gospel, which are the Beatitudes, the blessed are the ... are Jesus' way of updating the Ten Commandments. It's the Ten Commandments 2.0, the Beatitudes. And there are 8 of them, and 4 of them tell us how to let go of potential traps to happiness. And 4 others tell us how we are to grow in God's grace and in his ways. So, what does it mean to be a saint? How can we do that? Well, there are things we need to let go of, and there are ways in which we need to grow, to let go and to grow. Let's consider them briefly. First of all, and I've said very often, when it comes to letting go, it means to consider those 4 P's. What are the 4 P's? The 4 P's are the 4 potential characteristics or goods that as human beings we seek, which are good, but can get in the way of the best, of the perfect. And they are possessions, pleasure, power, and prestige. The 4 candidates for what makes us happy as human beings. And each one of them, though good, can be a trap because not any one of them brings us happiness. And so when Jesus begins the Beatitudes, he begins by saying, what do we need to let go of? First of all, we need to let go of possessions. Blessed are the poor, or in the gospel today, blessed the poor in spirit. To not define ourselves by our possessions, what we have, what we can accumulate. We all know that's ultimately a dead end. We can buy as many toys as we want, have the greatest technology, the newest gadgets. It doesn't bring lasting happiness. Again, a sense of pleasure. Jesus says when we seek emotional highs or through food or sex or any stimulation of a bodily nature, we need to counteract that by being willing to mourn. Blessed are those who mourn. They will be comforted, experience the comfort of God. The extent that we are comfortable with being able to let go in our lives, to let go of the emotional high, or to take the losses as we experience them in life, loss of a career opportunity, the loss of our own health or what we imagine to be the strength in our life, even the loss of a loved one. Our ability to let go of having that sensible pleasure is the key to being able to be blessed, that is to be happy. Again, a sense in every way of power, right? Blessed are those who are meek, who don't have to be in control of our lives. Often we think happiness is about, if I'm in control, as long as I can control the situation, we're all good. And what meekness is not weakness, but the humility to know deep down that we aren't in control. We can't even extend our life for one moment if it not be God's will. So to let go, to be meek, and then we will inherit all the time we have, all of the earth. And then finally, prestige. Prestige seeks happiness in the affirmation we get from others, the applause, the plaudits. What a wonderful pastor you are, Father Michael. If that's what I'm seeking, guess what? I'm going to be, at some point, very, very disappointed, right? And so what does the Lord say to that? Blessed are those who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness. Blessed are those who are more interested in witnessing to the gospel and don't care what others think about them. These are the ways we need to let go. Blessed are those who are poor. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are the who are persecuted. But not only letting go, but also growing. How do we grow? At the heart of this is when Jesus says, blessed are the clean of heart. What does it mean to be clean of heart? It goes beyond a sense of purity and physical purity of mind and heart, or an avoidance of lust or sexual sin. The clean of heart are those who have a singular purpose or will to desire the one thing in life, and that is the will of God. The clean of heart see God because they're looking for God. They've orientated their life around, when they get up in the morning, what does God want from me? How does God call me to love? Which leads to the other 3 positive ways to grow from the Beatitudes. Blessed are the merciful. That is that hesed in Hebrew, that loving kindness and mercy. Remember, mercy is not simply loving. It's loving where there's no reason that we ought to love. It's love in the face of lack. How do we show mercy in our lives? How do we have that singular purpose of God's will? So when I get up in the morning, I say, how can I love? How can I show mercy? Again, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. When I get up in the morning, I'm hungry or thirsty for my breakfast, my coffee, kind of getting my day going. And yet, what would it look like if I said, what need is around me that I can anticipate and hunger and thirst to fill? As pastor, lots of needs, lots of folks asking for my assistance and help. And generally, I hope, God willing, I'm pretty good at responding to those needs. And yet, how often, even for myself, do I just go beyond responding, but being proactive to the need around me? Those who hunger and thirst for righteousness are not simply reactive to needs, but are proactive in seeking out the lost, seeking out those who need that mercy in their lives. And then finally, blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are those who bring a sense of serenity, harmony, and unity, not being agents of fear and anxiety in their life or complaint, but rather bring the peace which only God can give. Today, we are called to be saints. It's the ordinary road for each one of our lives. God expects us to be saints. There's only one thing that matters in life, to be a saint. And in order to be a saint, we need to follow the road of the Beatitudes, to let go of what? To let go of that sense of possessions, pleasure, power, and prestige, and to grow in that sense of singular focus, cleanness of heart, that we might be merciful, we might hunger and thirst for righteousness, we might be the peacemakers that God has called us to be. Amen. Amen. God bless you. Be at peace.